Say, Aloth, I may not be the quickest to catch on, but I've been seeing you and the Watcher talking a lot.
Talking? No harm in talking, is there? Not between two very special friends with lots to talk about.
Are you two sharing jokes and not letting me in on it? 'Cause that wouldn't be right.
You're right. He does do that with his hands.
Fie, 'tis roughing his precious spelling book that scares the lad. Or maybe 'tis notching his wee finger.
You gotta stop. My sides hurt. Oh, I miss this.
Surely you've spied how he's always brushing himself. He won't say, but he's afeard of seagull shit.
Aloth, there any way you can bring Islamir back?
The whole point of suppressing her was to keep her out of my head.
I miss her impressions. Oh, she could do this one of you.
Which she did over and over.
Was real good, though. She could do all your twitching, your squeaky voice when you got nervous.
I heard you and Islamir again. I do wish you would stop encouraging her.
Real sorry, Aloth. We'll keep it down.
You think I care about your childish jokes? What bothers me is how she dog-ears my grimoire. And you keep bringing her out.
Just looking to lighten the mood, I guess. What have you been up to, Aloth, since we left Twin Elms?
Oh, quite a lot. I've been around the Eastern Reach, traveled to Old Valia.
That right? Oh, who took you there?
I'm perfectly capable of traveling on my own, you know.
Of course I know that. Just never seen it is all.
So, does Gilded Vale still reek of spoiled grain and burnt stew?
Wouldn't know. Decided to go places where I could be of more use.
I didn't realize farmers were in such short supply in the Deerwood.
Not farming. Thought I'd take a shot at running things.
And those things are still running?
That really all you think I can do?
Oh, I meant no offense. You know how to handle a tankard as well.
Hey, Aloth. Remember back when you were a low-rank Leaden Key spy?
I generally try not to.
Well, you deserve the promotion. Much prefer you to your old boss.
Why, thank you.
I never thanked you proper for working to take them apart. I wouldn't have expected it from the Aloth I met in Deerwood. Aloth, hey Aloth. Islamir was just telling me this story about your school days.
And I suppose now you're going to tell me about it.
Is it true you woke your dormitory screaming in your sleep about a messy library?
Is it true Deerwoodins don't raise swine for their meat?
Whoa, that's, forget I asked.
Fie, if you think the lad's fussy now, you should have seen him as a wee one.
That right?
Twouldn't set foot in home or hearth without cleaning his boots. Slicked his breeches when he dallied.
Well, he's changed since then, as I see it.
Fie, Adair, do you have a spirit twixt your chaps?
Sure, but you haven't noticed Aloth, needing you less?
The lad needs you more than ever now he's after the old lead key.
I guess you've been sleeping in there these past couple years, then.
I see your gummies flapping, but 'tis only mush dribbling out.
You say so.
And the rest of the ale-hall got right quiet. Lad was a ruddy sight then.
That's something, I suppose. Hey, what would you say to me talking to Aloth for a bit?
Why? See if he remembers that night. Yeah, you do mean to ask him, eh?
No, I just wouldn't mind talking to him right now.
Aye. I have old Islamir for a chuckle, then called the lad when you bore. I canna your lark, Adair.
Aloth, when you were handling the Leaden Key, did you get a lot of different opinions from folks?
The strange thing about the Leaden Key is that the members are so disconnected. Many have little idea of what the organization really does, much less who I am.
How do you handle that?
The headdress usually clarifies that last part. Most have little idea of what the organization really does, and they often have very different reasons for joining. Use enough big words, and most of them can be convinced you know something they don't. I must admit, Adair, I was initially surprised that you'd come all this way. You never struck me as much of a traveler, but you seem to be flourishing out here. Then again, I suppose I've gotten to notice a lot more of late. With Islamir quiet, I mean.
How is Islamir? I haven't heard from her in a while.
You know, normally when she's angry, there isn't a moment of peace. This is a welcome change.
Well, when you learn even the gods don't know it all, it's easier to take risks.
Strangely liberating, isn't it? I've been wondering, what do you think you'll say to the blue lad when we reach him?
Oh, hey, Isilmir. You really want to know? I didn't think you'd be interested.
I dinna con much of the gods and their lots, but I do worry for a friend.
Well, you don't have to worry about me, but that's nice of you to say.
Isilmir tells me you've been talking again.
Yeah, guess we are talking more. Don't worry, though. Nothing bad about you.
I didn't realize she was conversant with anything else.
You'd be surprised. She's been decent. Maybe because I stopped responding to her when she's mean.
Well, I'd hate to think I've suffered another awakening. Are you certain it's her?
Aloth, no matter what happens, we're not gonna let Isilmir get between us, right?
You were the one who allowed her between us in the first place.
Good. Because I wanted to ask you if I could court her.
I do hope you're joking.
Yeah, she told me to say that.
After spending so much time with Connor, I'm surprised. You're nothing like him.
Guess poetry just has that effect on me.
Oh, you could certainly do worse when it comes to family. Most birds I've seen leave quite a mess. How is Ishiza so tidy?
He isn't. In fact, he likes to hide his droppings between grimoire pages.
Just when I thought I needed to relax my personal boundaries. I take it the Hazanui runs a tight ship. Do you ever disagree with orders?
Naturally. And I bark about it until the boss tells me to stand down.
You Rawatayans aren't much for passive aggression, are you?
So, read anything good lately?
A riveting essay on the properties of illusion. Oh, and Catabolt's treatise on the finer points of corrosives.
Glad I asked. I think Ishiza has been nesting with the pages of your grimoire.
Couldn't you control him? You don't see me plucking his feathers for extra quills.
You're free to try, but I'm telling you right now you'll regret it. I told Ishiza to apologize for that incident with your book.
It's quite all right. I appreciate the gesture.
Just say the word and I'll give him a kick in the tail feathers.
Maybe not that gesture. My Seraphim, is there anything you have a hard time with, aside from humility?
I reckon I'll be a fancy at most things, more so all things piratical.
If only we were all as confident in real skills as you are in imagined ones.
You'd be right surprised how far confidence will take you, lad. Were you ever to give it a try?
For someone who talks so much, you seem to care about very little.
Oh, apologies, lad. Didn't realise we'd be only ever speaking of subjects deep and meaningful.
Oh, don't strain yourself on my account. I already have one guest in my head. I don't need another.
Sorry, lad. Thought that chip on your shoulder were for all to see.
Do you ever have a thought and just decide to keep it to yourself?
More'n you know, my dearin' mate. More'n you know. For whatever it be worth, I think you and the captain be charting the right course.
I'm sure I don't know what you're talking about.
We're only saying it shows wits, knowing that not every heart's flutter needs be chased to the end of Aora.
Especially not when it seems we're actually headed in that direction.
Worry me, Alof. I'd be letting the lass out to play more.
It isn't you, and I didn't ask.
Could make a right nice excuse to be exploring your... well, everything, I.
You do realize you're not the first ill-mannered Orlin to suggest that?
You be looking at this the wrong way, lad. Like she be someone else inside your head.
Putting those cipher skills to work, aren't we?
The pair of you share a soul, one and the same. She be your feminine side, or mayhaps you be hers.
And both of us are equally capable of putting your snooping nose where it belongs.
Shame I weren't at that animancy trial. My mind would have cut Theos's plot to bloody ribbons.
Indeed, it's a wonder we ever stopped Theos without you.
Don't let it discourage, lad. I'd wager silver you can keep up.
How generous of you. What happened to your armor? You always kept it so neat.
When one of my order is cast out, we are obligated to remove the suns from our armor and wear it as a sign of our disgrace.
They've disowned you. You owe them nothing, least of all this humiliation.
My debt and my duty are to my country, I would gladly accept humiliation from the dukes for another chance to serve the republics.
You deserve leaders who honor your devotion.
In their eyes, my devotion was misplaced. Perhaps it was. At least now I have another chance to prove myself to them.
It sounds like the last 5 years have been good to you.
I have been allowed to serve my country to the best of my ability. That is good.
And I see you haven't changed a bit. You know, Palagina, I never realized how much I missed your company.
You just miss having someone standing in front of you when Isomir insults half the people in a room.
She won't try to touch your feathers again, that's for certain. Nothing seems to shake your faith in the republics, Palagina.
Some people believe in the gods. I believe in the republics. They will endure long after I am gone.
But do you ever wonder what they'll become?
Of course. But my place is to protect the republics for those who will shape its future.
For all your doubt in the gods, how can you believe animancers are any more responsible?
The gods have never done right by me. Animancers have. Even a little responsibility is better than none at all.
You place too much faith in them. Given the same license, they'll be just as bad. Knowing your inclinations about the gods, I'm surprised you didn't give Ruanu a piece of your mind.
Ruanu is the Ranga of Tikawara. I cannot risk the company's interest here by offending him.
And I suppose he did do enough talking for all of us. The Songreta should not have disrespected you at the hearing.
It is my duty to serve the interests of the dukes and the company, even if the Songreta may not welcome my presence.
And do they owe you nothing in return?
No more than they owe any other citizen of the republics, to create the best possible future for the generations who follow us.
It seems the Huana have their own version of animancy, reading the souls of the young to establish their roles.
Where do you draw the line between animancy and what the Huana do? Do you object to their practices as well?
Animancers attempt to alter what the Huana merely observe. It's fundamentally different.
Not all animancers do, and most who do are attempting to fix, to cure maladies of the soul. As much as you must hate to admit it, they are trying to do good where no one else dares.
Even so, the Huana examine mere facets of a soul and purport to understand it. This, too, is dangerous.
You certainly seem to admire the luminous bathhouse, Aloth. It was made by animancers, of course.
And if they devoted all their efforts to such endeavors, you wouldn't hear me complain.
It is a wonder they manage at all without your wisdom and guidance. Is everything quite all right, Aloth? You have been troubled since we left the spire.
It's Flaunay's project. Can you imagine what a danger that might be in the wrong hands?
But if we spend our time worrying about everything that could go wrong, we would never accomplish anything.
Or we might avoid greater harm. I'm sorry about Giacomo. I know he meant a lot to you.
Agrasima. He is one of the only people in my life who cared for me as a person, not as a godlike.
I can't help but think about his work. Don't you wonder what might have happened if your parents had known?
And there are many days I have wondered if death would have been preferable to this.
I'm relieved Giacomo as well. I know he means a lot to you.
He was the first person in my life to care for me as a person, not just a godlike.
Yet even he recognizes the dangers his work presents.
Better him than one who does not recognize the danger, Diverus. Aloth, I know it has been difficult to deal with your new responsibilities. Though it is my duty to serve, I face similar doubts.
I used to see your dedication as the absence of doubt. But that's not it at all, is it?
When I was young, there was only passion. Diverus. But with age, doubt crept in. I persist in my duty not because I ignore my doubts, but because I fight them every day. Aloth, I knew it could not be easy for you to abandon your responsibilities. I have wanted to do the same many times.
I didn't abandon anything. Rather, I realized the harm I could cause was greater than the good I could do.
If only all those in power had half your sense of responsibility. Say what you want about animancy, but it wasn't animancers who bound the sea dragon's soul beneath the Water Shapers Guild.
Of course that was wrong. But imprisoning dragons has hardly spread the way animancy has.
That may have something to do with the availability of sea dragons, Aloth.
Or the unflagging ambition of animancers. I thought Juana didn't believe in personal property. Yet you've brought quite the assortment of leather necklaces.
Akira, just so. But not all of them go around my neck.
In that case, perhaps you could remove them from my sleeping berth.
Oh, it is no burden, my friend. You are free to borrow one. My friend, you hide your face in a book while the beauty of the Deadfire passes you by.
A readied mind will be far more useful the next time we face dragons, cultists, or vampires.
You are ready to face death. What of life, I say?
If you'd never experienced the pleasure in a good book, more's the pity. Takehu, must you practice your chant so loudly?
Songs are for singing, my friend. If they bother you, I will find one more to your liking.
Takehu, if you keep tugging on that, I fear you'll pull it clean off.
My tentacles enjoy a good tug. I try not to take them by surprise, after last time. If my people would control my talent for their own ends. Akira, I owe them nothing in return.
I suppose you discovered all that on your own, lounging in the bathhouse?
Akira, where I do my best thinking without the babble of scholars to fill my head. It would be a shame to deprive the Juana of my talents. Akira, I am a gift to my people.
Came up with all that from the warm waters of the bathhouse, did you?
Well, not all of us clear our heads with a cold bath. Apologies, friend. One of my tentacles squirted ink onto your grimoire.
That's what that is. I rather wish you hadn't told me.
It is a territorial gesture, not to be taken personally.
How could you live your life here and know so little about the gullet?
I might ask the same about your leaden key. We are both guilty of overlooking the obvious.
That's why I've endeavored to learn.
Learn, learn, learn. You will be an old man by the time you make up your mind.
You've been pensive since the gullet.
I never guessed that anyone could be unhappy in Nekataka.
I followed the leaden key for years before I learned of its excesses.
Is there some Adiran trick for purging guilt that the Juana have missed?
Some are fond of palm wine, but I don't recommend it.
The guild is so desperate for strength that it turns to cruelty.
That knowledge gives you a responsibility.
To my people, the guild, the islands, it is a heavy weight being Ngati's chosen.
That knowledge gives you power to change things.
If my power is all that can save the Juana, then I do not know, friend elf.
You're fidgeting again?
My head itches. It does that in the company of nosy elf librarians.
You should learn to disguise your emotions. You're thinking about Ukaizo again.
I have thought about Ukaizo all my life. It has always been a dream, but never on the horizon.
In my experience, millennia-old secrets are rarely simple. Be careful. You may not like what you find.
Friend Aloth, I see you standing closer to the captain these days.
Well, we have known each other for quite some time.
For what are you bashful? Celebrate your conquest on every hilltop, I say.
I would hardly call it that. Besides, my idea of celebration is a little more private.
For what do you bury your face in parchment, my friend?
A wizard requires a grimoire. Surely you write your chants somewhere.
Never. For what would I scribe a song that lives in my heart? Protect your long ears, friend Aloth. The seagulls are restless.
What exactly do you think they'll do? Swoop down and nibble my ears?
Hikara, a hat of Kaura reed will guard them better than any helmet. Your poor ears, still swollen, I say.
Perhaps the birds wouldn't be tempted if the hole didn't smell like fish.
A balm of crab eggs and beetle paste will clear that up.
There's virtue in suffering with dignity.
Aloth, can I ask you something?
Saying no has never stopped anyone before.
It's just that I tried talking with Adair, but I don't seem to be making any headway. He doesn't want to warm up to me.
He doesn't fight at the front because he's good with a sword. He's just dense as stone. Which is to say, he's not one for taking hints.
Well, you don't have to make it seem so hopeless.
He's not one for subtlety. Think of him as a big, happy dog, which is not as unkind as it sounds. To him, anyway.
Maybe you're right.
Does it ever trouble you, being so far removed from the rest of your order?
You gonna call me heretical too?
Of course not. I'm terribly sorry. I didn't mean to pry.
I didn't mean to jump on you. I'm just used to being called names.
It's all right. I understand the feeling.
How'd you come by that scar on your brow, Aloth?
This, I found myself in a rather perilous situation with a band of Darghouls.
Dargles can be real nasty. You're lucky that's all you got to show for it.
I certainly gave them worse. Not to boast, of course. I admire you, Shoti, for holding to your beliefs even against the wishes of your superiors.
You really mean that? 'Cause I thought you didn't much like me.
I mean it. It took me entirely too long to learn to do the same. I've noticed you seem to be frequently at odds with others in your order.
Some of my brethren don't understand why I gotta do what I do, but I'm not beholden to them.
I can certainly sympathize. Is everything all right? You seem restless lately.
Everything's so dark these days. You, me, the Watcher. I open my eyes, but I can't see the light in anyone. Not anymore.
How about a soothing cup of copper tea? Or maybe a good soak in the bathhouse? You certainly seem cheerful lately. Sleeping better, I hope?
Sure am. Been sleeping like a newborn babe, but, less fussy.
I don't suppose you could share your secret. I rarely get a decent night on the ship.
Oh, it's easy. You just gotta get the tar shocked out of you when you dump a bunch of souls into a luminous Audra pillar.
I don't know how you and the Watcher sleep, carrying all those souls around.
Some nights it's the lantern that lulls me to sleep. It pulses like a heart in my hand.
If you find that comforting, then I'm glad for you.
Well, I do sleep better when the Watcher's around, that's for sure.
Does it suddenly feel warm in here to you?
Did Kana ever get to meet Ishi?
Briefly. It didn't go well.
Really? Well, Kana always seemed agreeable to me.
Oh, you weren't there for the White Flood. Ishi can purge his whole intestine at once if he's feeling ornery. Kana never wore that hat again.
Does it suit you, being a soldier? I did well enough at it, but it was never for me.
I like knowing that someone has a plan. Never felt it from the gods.
You ever think, maybe I put my faith in the wrong cause?
Faith is what you feel in a given moment. Like a bird's feathers, it molts from time to time.
So if things had played out different, you might have grown up here.
True. Good thing my parents had the sense to leave.
And you'd be worrying about what the trading companies were doing, setting up down here.
No offense, but I try not to live with a bunch of ifs trailing in my wake. You ever long for the simple life, soldier?
Nah, where I'm from, sometimes the simple life comes knocking on your door with nooses and pitchforks.
You're giving Ishi a weird look. What did he do?
I'm not giving him a weird look, he's giving me a weird look.
Ishi, down. Adair, what are you hiding in your pack?
Huh, didn't think Ishi knew how to smoke.
I worry about you, Adair. There'd be a thing of free out here that you shouldn't be aiming at pets.
Hey, it was dark. I only saw the back of your head. I thought you were some huge island squirrel.
This ain't about me, farmer.
You had me right fooled, farmer. How's that?
About the Watcher. Apparently had him fooled too.
Well, I'm not much for fooling. Unless it's more like pouring tree sap in someone's breeches. Seraphim, thought we agreed you'd stay out of my head.
I weren't in your head, lad. You think like an ogre snores. Would be a fool and a half not to make sure them thoughts ain't full up of trouble.
What do you think you're gonna find?
Nothing particular, just, anything.
All right. Which one of us am I thinking of now?
You be thinking of the Watcher.
That's 10 in a row.
That's some talent you got.
Aye, the talent of noticing who you be glancing at before you ask me who you be thinking of. The answer be no, you fathom-headed farmer.
I didn't ask anything.
Nothing sides wondering if all in brains being smaller than fat farmer brains like your own have it harder for ciphering.
I wasn't wondering that.
The answer be no.
Pallegina, how is it nothing about what the gods are up to seems to faze you?
When you think the worst of them, the worst they can do comes as little surprise.
Don't you at least want to hear what Aethys has to say?
Only a fool would trust what he had to say. Whatever he said would be just another lie.
I'm not saying it wouldn't, just looking for... I don't know. Hey, Pallegina, I know you're kind, you can't have children. But would you have wanted them?
Ach, it is because I cannot give my country children that I give them so much of the life I have.
When I was younger, I took it for granted I'd have them one day. Free labor. But a lot of time passed before I knew it. Hardly gave it a thought until now.
You are not getting any younger. I know you do not like thinking, Adair, but maybe it's time to start.
Deadfire's so different than what I'm used to. Well, must be for you, too.
Ach, quite different. Even I am not accustomed to this much sailing.
They seem to hold the godlike in high regard. You ever think about staying?
The Dukes have liberated me from the burden of making that choice, Adair.
Can I ask you something personal?
Makera, do not hold back, my friend.
You sure? Sometimes I ask things that get people riled up without meaning to.
Well, if it riles me up, then I say you have my undivided attention.
All right. Is there any kind of ocean critter I shouldn't be eating in front of you? I noticed the Juana got a lot of statues of Andra.
Makera, Mother Ngati is much beloved.
That doesn't bother you?
Should it? What say?
Well, if everybody in my village had a naked statue of my mama, I'd be knocking on doors and making threats. Takehu, you ever use your abilities to play jokes on anyone?
Makera, I once sold a water globe to a Mataru priest. It was filled with live fish.
That doesn't sound like much of a joke.
The trick was letting the sculpture break down while he slept with it over his head.
Oh, I'm getting so many ideas right now. How would you feel about betraying the Watcher's trust? Do you think Andra's got something in mind for you, Takehu?
For me to exist in this form and to join this crew? I know she does.
It's funny. I fought against Aethys. I'm chasing him now. And I don't think he knows a thing about me.
Makera, it is for us to show the gods why we are worthy of notice.
Yeah, I guess we'll see about that.
You and the captain traveled together all that time, but never...
No, that's not how things played out. Just never saw it that way.
Ngati weeps for such wasted potential.
I be half worried about our friends from the Reach, Maya.
They were doing fine without our help.
Saying no. Go too long without release, you risk the bits getting all clogged up.
Ah, we can only watch and pray they help themselves.
And all sort swaggers in with a ship's wheel sticking out of his pants.
It's driving him nuts.
New swabby be asking a first mate, do galleys like this be sinking often?
Usually it's just the ones. Even Ishi knows that one.
Oh, gods, lass, you be no fun at all. It'd be a right shame you be such a cold, calculating crab-hatcher, Maya.
I don't speak fur pirate, but I'll take that as a compliment.
Drinks later, I.
Wouldn't miss it. Ishi, stop pecking at Seraphin's beard.
Any attention? Be good attention, lass. Ow! Who's a good bird? God!
Sorry for that one time I shot you in the leg.
Blood under the bridge, lass. Even if you near robbed me of my favourite bits.
In all fairness, I thought I was aiming at a hairy powder barrel. Been a while since we crossed cannon, Seraphin.
Since the gentleman outsailed that Rawatai scow off of Hasongo, if I rightly recall.
Us sharing a crew saves me a bullet I'll need elsewhere, so... thanks.
Any time, lass.
So you served on the Sorcerer, but you weren't too keen on slavery.
Aye, we all were. The sorcerer hunted every slaver we heard tell of.
I thought I heard... it's nothing. Most of the avian godlike I've met were poets and singers.
Which one do you think I am?
Oh, someone's egg rolled out of the nest. Wager I can reload faster than you can draw your sword.
Tondri, I have no interest in your childish games.
Your mother gave you quite the ego.
One of many gifts, I say.
That wasn't a compliment, but never mind. You've got principles for someone whose job is guarding a bunch of merchants.
And you have the principles of someone who guards warmongers. That is to say, none.
Does the company pay you for mercenary duty? Or is pride enough to buy bread where you're from?
Do you really not know the Brotherhood reports directly to the Dukes? Or have the discharges of your gun knocked around your brain too much?
I saw you send off that missive. What are you telling the company now?
It was a special request to have your bird captured and held hostage, until you stop asking me stupid questions.
You wouldn't survive a day in the Navy, fish boy.
Kara, I would rather give myself to the sea than take orders.
Oh, in that case, I'd give you an hour. What does water shaping feel like, Takehu?
Kara, it is like making love to a bloom of jellyfish. Like 1,000 wet kisses with a delicate caress under the skin.
I may have missed my calling.
Maya, do you recall the tales or songs of your tribe?
No. I was a hatchling when I left the Deadfire.
Oh, I thought perhaps...
This isn't story time, fish boy. Don't make me send Ashiza after your eyes.
I am composing a song for you and Ashiza. It is an ode to Amira, queen of birds.
Another Juana epic? Just wake me up when it's over.
You will like it, I think. The tune is inspired by a Rawatayan drinking song.
If you must.
I read that your armada fought well at Nakaro Atoll. Neither side left the battle unscathed.
Oh, what do you know, Ishi? The fish boy can read. Thanks all the same. Hearing that from a local feels important. How's the head, Takehu? You, need anything?
My ink replenishes itself. I am in no physical pain.
Pretty neat trick, if you ask me.
Thank you.
I've never seen Ashiza hop to music like that before.
Of course, he is a dancer. He takes after his Juana sister.
He probably just thought you were gonna feed him.
When fish and bird can befriend each other, anything is possible, I say. The Juana have done well in this harsh environment. You must concede that.
They were before they gave their territory to the Valians.
Forget that I spoke.
Your tentacles are making lewd gestures in my direction.
My apologies. They have a mind of their own.
Well, it's kind of cute, in a horrifying way.
The Crown has not called her water shapers to battle in some time.
We've all seen what happens when Juana get pissed off.
If I was summoned to sink a Rawatayan vessel, I do not think I could answer the call.
Really? I promise not to tell anyone. Hey, Firefly, catch.
Huh? What? Wait, did you even toss me anything?
Don't mind me, just testing your reflexes. You ever wonder if it's unhealthy to carry a lantern full of lost souls?
You mean like if I keep at it, they're gonna do something worse than give me nightmares?
I suppose we're past the point of unhealthy. Anyone teach you how to tie a bowline, Firefly?
Can't say that they have, but I'm always willing to learn new tricks.
I'll show you. Could save your life one day. Or mine. Caught you staring, Firefly. Got something on your mind?
What, that's wrong or something? Like I shouldn't be looking at you?
Well, the way you keep circling me like a hungry tiger makes Ishi nervous. Not that I mind.
All right, maybe I'm thinking of doing a little more than looking. And if Ishi knows what's good for him, he'll hop on out of the way.
Ugh, something's not agreeing with me. You got any remedies for a stomach bug, Firefly?
My ma used to brew us merkberry tea mixed with hagfish oil. If that doesn't work, I can pray for you.
I'll take that first one. I think Aethys is a little preoccupied.
Poor Ma, but don't you worry none. If you're needing to puke, that tea'll do the trick every time.
I've never seen Ashiza get this close to someone. He hasn't even pecked at you yet.
She sure is the sweetest, ain't he? And he's such a handsome little fella, too. Yes, he is.
I guess it's just easy being nice to the girl with a pocket full of merkberries.
Well, it's not just that. Me and Ishi have an understanding. I tell him all about my dreams and wishes, and the places I want to travel with him. He likes to listen.
Ishi and I had a heart-to-heart, like you said. Talked about dreams and all that.
Oh, how'd it go? Did Ishi seem to like it?
He pecked me, but didn't draw blood. I might call that progress.
That sort of behavior's just unbecoming. I'll have to talk to him about being ugly to his mama.
You're too good to me, Firefly.
Sometimes, lass, I'll be wondering why you muck about with this motley lot.
We are both mucking about with them, are we not?
Aye, but I be a furry blue pirate and you be... well, you.
I am a servant. My country has needs and I tend to them as best I can, regardless of company.
Oi, lass, can you be learning me how to do that big blue sword thing?
Is this one of those colourful pirate expressions?
Nay, gods, nay. We're literal as a dear wooden score, ma'am.
In that case, no.
You know, lass, some might be saying your bellicosity towards the gods be a bit ridiculous. You having parlayed with them and all?
If you had spoken to them, you'd find them ridiculous too. Anyway, what good have your prayers to Undra ever done?
Better being safe than drowned. So, how would you be saying, barnacle-arsed bilge swallow?
I would not.
But were you to be saying it, how would you?
I would get a pirate to do it by grabbing one and sticking a sword up their...
Aye, ma'am, understood. Forget I asked.
Seraphin, I am glad that you were able to see Remaro one last time before he left.
Aye, it were worthwhile. Not that I ain't aiming to set eyes on the old sawbones again. Assuming the, captain don't get us all good and dead first.
Then let us work for better days ahead. Seraphin, I am sorry about what happened to Remaro.
Only bastards not bound for the wheel be the cockrotten bastards who built it, lass.
True enough. But with some luck, even they may someday get their due.
Shouldn't have wasted the time, lass. The old salt weren't so steadfast and weather-wise after all.
Still, it is better to have had the chance than not.
This Giacomo sort, he saved your life and you've now returned the favour, aye?
He did more than save my life. Diverus, he made my life worth living. Saving him seems like too small a gesture.
The scales ain't never balanced, lass. Nor balancing 'em, the point. Right hard thing, lass. Losing family. Got myself some grog stashed away. You decide you'll be wanting to pull at 10?
Agrasima, it is appreciated. I may take you up on that some night.
It is not every day I meet a sailor who gives no praise to Ngati.
She ain't sunk me yet, lad. What if we be inviting Aethys on a big blue and beautiful tour of anywhere but Deadfire?
You would have to be large enough to grab his attention, I say.
Oh, I'll be big enough, lad, where it counts. Gods, lad, I could live forever and never be tiring of these islands.
Ikera, the beaches of Oreo Koiki, the sands of Poko Kahara.
Oh, the lads walking them beaches. The lasses with sand on their asses.
Ikera, them as well. For what do you stare at me, little man?
Were I staring? I'll just be finding your mind a bit different, so.
My thoughts are for myself, but I give of my heart freely.
And here with me living the other way round.
You were a slave. For this fish, the sea means only freedom.
There'll be nets and hooks plenty, lad. I'll be hoping you stay clear of them.
The gods want more for us than piracy, I say.
Aye, more than farming, more than fishing, more than shaping the water even. Freebooting be the means, lad, not the ends. Once, I woke up in naught but a nightshirt in an old full-up of squid.
That's nothing. Twice in 1 week, I woke up in a dug-up grave, buck naked, coffin busted, no corpse to be found. And that was before the dream started.
Only twice, and here I was thinking you were exciting. Glad you and Maya be shaking the sheets, Shody. She be a good lass, under the, everything.
Don't I know it? Never felt so lucky in my whole life. You ever thought about changing the color of your fur? Merkberries will stain your skin for weeks.
Oh, think I were born blue, eh? Think being this pretty come natural?
Well, dang, Seraphim. I never knew you were so fancy.
But mayhaps I'll be giving them Merkberries a go. Ain't never been marooned before. You'd be better off mooning after someone with half a foot between their ears, lass.
You can't dictate what the heart wants, Seraphim. Thought you, of all people, would know that.
Well, the heart can be a right stupid git sometimes. It don't always deserve your listening.
Didn't take you for the romantic type, Seraphim.
A tongue's got a use or four, lass, and I'll be a right master of each.
Yeah, I'm gonna pretend like I didn't just hear that. What did you do before you were a ship hunter?
Rough times, lass. Would spare you the telling, lest you be set on it.
I reckon I can handle it.
Crew I will if they give me any job they thought like to kill me. I'll live to prove 'em wrong.
Can't live the good times unless you survive the bad. That what being a pirate's all about?
Aye, sure enough. Sides, lasses say the scars be adding distinction. You say your lamp nets you souls, aye? Mind if I be asking how?
Faith can do many a thing, Seraphim. Add a little copper and audra, and a normal lantern can work miracles.
Aye, don't those be the tools of the animancers, art?
Maybe, but I'm no animancer, that's for sure. I ain't out to play God, only serve mine.
Tekehu, do you truly believe Ondra cares for you?
Makara, she cherishes all her children.
Perhaps like a child cherishes a doll for a time before she casts it aside for another. Tekehu, when was the last time the Lady of Lament helped your people?
I say, Mother Ngati brings in the tide and pulls it back every day. For what would I ask anything more of the sea?
Diverus, I will never understand how you people can serve something that cares so little for you.
Amira has gifted you beautiful plumage, I say.
Beckham Blanca, do you know how many Postinagos have said that to me? This plumage brings me only the fawning of boys with bigger eyes than brains.
Ikera, a sharp beak as well. For what do you scorn the blessing of Amira?
Ugh, but you're mistaken. It's a curse, and so I will hate Helia for it as long as I draw breath.
Ikera, the things they teach children these days. If I had feathers, I would preen them to attract a mate.
A mate? We can't have children, Postinago. My feathers are as useful as your stupid tentacles.
Oh, do not listen to her, my little ones. Ngati's favor has its complications, I say.
Diverus, being lavished with praise seems terribly difficult. Tekehu, is your hair... Can you trim it? I mean, them.
Akera, I tried but once. They would not trust me for weeks after.
Brutal. At least my feathers don't have minds of their own. Helia has done me no favors, so I have done none for her.
I say it is our responsibility to reach out to them first, Lady Knight.
Do Juana parents abandon their children when they are born?
This does not happen.
Strange, no? How the gods are the only ones who do so? I must concede that the Juana are more welcoming to people of our kind.
Akera, my tribe would be delighted to host a feast in Amira's honor.
Shodari, the last thing I want is a feast honoring my mother.
For what did I open my mouth and make everything worse?
Palagina, doesn't it ever just feel heavy to you?
Que? My armor?
No, the weight on your soul. Don't you worry one day it'll drag you to the depths of hell? I know I do.
No, my soul is light. It will enter the beyond when I die like anyone else's.
You're right. Every soul does go in, but not every soul gets to come back out.
Instead of worrying over my soul, worry about why the gods threaten us with damnation.
What I just can't figure is how anyone could treasure animancy over the grace of our divine's guiding hand.
Because the mercy of Kith is less capricious than the gods' guiding hands.
Funny, that doesn't answer my question.
Curse Aethys for all of this.
Say that about Gone and I'll wash your mouth out. With mud.
It is pathetic how easily wounded your faith is.
What do you reckon you did to earn Helia's chime? 'Cause it sure wasn't from potential for this life.
None of us did anything to deserve a chime. Do not be naive. It is hardly a gift.
He can't be Aethys 'cause he died. But at the same time, I never thought Gone could be so...
Destructive? Uncaring? That is what the gods are. All of them.
No, I won't believe that. There's a reason for everything, even if we can't see it. Sometimes, maybe, you gotta be hard to be kind.
Still waiting for the kind part.
So what happens if you dry out too much?
If it is Ngati's desire that I stay moist, she will hasten the rain. For what do you obey your harvest god with such devotion, friend Shodi?
What do you mean, why? Like there's an alternative?
The Huana gods are a jungle of choices, I say. If the fish displeases you, look to the bird.
Takehu, would you mind terribly if I touched your hair?
Of course not. Only touch gently, and they will return the favor.
Huh. That's what Angwer said when we were necking in the Merkberries.
For what is Aethys, the god of light? Does he hold the sun in the sky?
Yeah, actually. The sun wakes for Aethys, dead or alive. You got a problem with that?
Akara, he steals the light from others.
You want a bloody nose, fish face. Keep talking.
Wonderful news, friend Shodi. A sacred coconut beetle is entangled in your hair.
Well, don't just watch it lay eggs. Pull it out for me.
It is a good omen. Let it crawl, I say.
Fair enough. But if it gets smushed, it ain't my fault.
For what do you stare at me, priestess?
It's just, your, hair. It keeps wriggling around like it's got a mind of its own.
Do you wish to touch one? They do not bite.
Would I ever? Hold still. Oh, slimy.
Shodi, I say you stepped on a sacred palm beetle.
No, I didn't mean to. Darn it, you think that's bad luck on me now?
Akara, the elders say your nose will fall off into the sand.
That sounds Wait, you wouldn't be pulling my leg now, would you? I'm just saying I find it funny that all these sacred beetles seem so drawn to me. That makes 9.
Akara, the son of trickster Ngati does not wander far from his mother's ways. Still, I should warn you of the tarantula crawling up your back.
Nice try, but I ain't falling for this one.
I do not joke about spiders.